A small story. The horses which were prepared for the Gobi Desert, these rescue idea of the wild horses, they started in Holland. And I remember that I was invited with a lot of journalists and whatever to go to this herd, to this wild herd of, I think were around 20, 30 wild horses. It was a huge area, and I went with the journalists and other horse persons, etc. And so we were walking for something like 3, 4, or 5 minutes, even maybe more, until we could see the herd. And then the stallion was turning towards us, and we were a group of 20, 25 guys, and I'm in the middle as the master of the horses, as this big Klaus, so to speak. And the stallion was turning towards us, and suddenly one of these 25 guys was running like hell. And for sure the story would not be funny like this if this was not me. And all these 24 guys, famous journalists, whatever, were thinking, what's going on? This Klaus is running like hell. The big master who is fighting with whatever kind of stallions. Because the situation was tremendous dangerous. I recognized this. Nothing happened, and all these guys were laughing about me coming back where we were meeting. And I said, I'm scared. I'm tremendous scared of this kind of situation. So, on the end of the day, if you have one horse and you have another horse in between, means two horses, be very, very, very alert, very careful. If you're going to a herd, if you have 2, 3 horses, another stallion is coming, and this stallion is going to sniff towards you. Once again, it's a question of the stallion. It's the question of his mood. It's the question of the situation, but not the control of myself, how the horse will react. So I would never do this in the way and I, for sure, Mary, I don't know how you did it. And again, it was a marvelous experience, and it went well. But I personally would not do things like this. So if I, for example, to give you an example, if I have to go to a herd of horses on whatever kind of pasture, which I don't know, for example, and I have 3, 4, or 5 horses there, I'm always starting in the beginning as the chief. How would the chief react as a horse? The chief would never go to this herd because they are 4 or 5 guys, and it's a question of few amount of time, then he would get hurt. So I would react there. I would have my robe. I would stand in one corner of this corral or of the pasture. And then I would walk around on one side, and the horses, all of them, would realize this is a guy who wants to lead. It's a high-ranked being, a high-ranked horse. And then I would go maybe closer to these kind of horses. I would show myself as a high-ranked horse, and with my attitudes, I would make them move. This is the first important thing. I would all these horses make to move. How they would react. They would nearly in all circumstances stay together as one herd. So I could then start to communicate with 5 horses or with 50 horses like with one. And I would direct the whole herd as one horse, and then the whole herd would become one horse, and I would do the same, like I would start with one stallion, and it's a question of time that they would all stand directed towards me, 50 horses, whatever, and would recognize me as their boss. They would start shortly to come closer, and then I do have the chance to go towards one of these horses, pick them out, and be in an absolutely safe situation. Even then, I would not dare, if I don't know the horses, to stay in the middle of these horses. Again, I'm finishing. Hopefully I did understand the purpose and the question of Mary. But again, I have to say one thing. When I am, as a professional, working with horses, I have to erase 1 per mil of the chance to get hurt. This is my responsibility towards myself. But and I didn't get with whatever kind of horses hurt in all my professional career, not once. So, but the point of it is different, because if I have only 1 per mil inside of myself that I could get hurt, that I'm not controlling the situation, then the horses will smell this. And if you say that Klaus is obviously achieving something in a short time, then it is because of this 100% approach towards the horses. Again, we are, so to speak, in the first approach. Coming back to Mary, what she's doing might be and will be a marvelous thing, etc. So, but what I would advise her, what I would like to teach her, maybe to show her once, if she would be there in this situation, just to start to do something in beforehand, so that the situation is absolutely relaxed, and then also the reaction of what Mary has been describing, this kind of sniffing, this kind of being coming close from the stallion, is a sign of aggressiveness, is already overstepping what I call the vital circle of the human. A horse, a stallion, whatever kind of ranked horse is, if the horse is not already my tremendous close follower, so to speak, he is not allowed to come closer than, let's say, a stallion, for example, not 3 meters. And then maybe step by step, when we're working together, when my ranking position is recognized clearly from the stallion, I am, with my gestures, allowing him to come to 2 meters. That's a lot. To come to 1 meter, that's a lot. If I am allowing a strong, big stallion horse to come to 1 meter, and it's me with the gestures who is giving this idea to the horse, then it means that we have already a familiar relation to each other, and the horse is honoring this, to go there and to say, wow, he is giving me the chance and the allowance with his signs to come 1 meter close. But if this horse would start to sniff at me, it already means that this is a strong symbol from the stallion, especially from the stallion, to demonstrate his still much too high ranking, according to me, or according to a human being.
And so what would you do in a situation like that, Klaus, where the stallion, or it may not be a stallion, is sniffing you?
This is very funny, because if they are, and I'm quite sure there are some people listening, Mark, in your audience, which have been so often in situations like this, because this is exactly one of my training points. So what I'm doing is the following shortly. I have a horse, and the horse is reacting very careful towards me. You can see, for example, in the clip, what I call Borderline 2008, I think it's called, with a horse, with a stallion, which calls Xingu. And the way how he is coming closer, for example, after his tremendous big fights he had, is very showing the whole thing very clear. Because when you watch me, then the people do not have the idea that the horse at the moment is stopping on 3 meters because of my tremendous, how to say it, this energy which is around me. Because the horse is just standing. I'm not doing anything. It's there. But the point is, if the owner is coming back, or the owner has the job to lead the horse back to the stable, woof, everything is sweeping, everything is just turning upside down, and we have nearly the same situation like before. So my training point is that then when I ask the owner just to come in a regular training situation, or somebody else, I say, go to the horse now, then the horse is already so much reacting on me that one snipping of the finger, or one whoop, or breathing, the horse can reach. So I can control the horse. Then I say, for example, somebody, try to do the same now, so to keep the horse on distance, which is one of the principal things. Keep the horse on distance without aggressiveness, without big things, and without any negative sign from the horse. And then, very often, we're ending up in a situation, Mark, which you have been exactly describing now. The horse is already too close. And then the person is asking me, what can I do? My answer is, Mark, nothing. I have to go in. Because whatever you're doing then is wrong. Mm-hmm. This is a point of no return, which is so tremendous important. The reality, unfortunately, I have to say this, and this is the reason why I'm doing my classes and why I'm focused so much on the beginning, because once again, finally the riding of